right now.
Welcome to the Dungeon Crawler Carl Live. Congratulations, you hit the play button, you genius. All right, guys, thank you all for joining us. I have an awesome lineup of people here for you to talk about one of the weirdest books I've ever read. Let's start here with Mr. Byrne.
Hi, I'm Joe. I am the author of The Hybrid Helix, writing book 7 right now. That's the cover of book 1. And Partial Function, which everyone forgets about, including me, my fantasy novel. And I have a YouTube channel, which I post to very infrequently. And I spent too much time on Twitter and Blue Sky and Discord. And I got my plane tickets to Worldcon just to this morning. And it cost way more than I thought I was going to pay. So that was not fun. I don't recommend it. Don't buy anything. Anyway, that's it.
All right.
Next.
And one of my favorite new booktubers. Josh, take it away.
Oh, that's me. All right, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know I was. Thank you. Awesome. Hi, I'm Josh from Already Overbooked. I got a booktube channel where we talk about books and book-related stuff. So I'm super excited for this conversation. This book is definitely a lot of fun, so I'm excited to discuss it.
And Nathan.
Yeah, anyone that's ever watched any of these in the past know that I'm just an internet ogre that comes out from under my bridge from time to time and hops on these things. You know, anytime something interests me.
And Triple B could not join us this evening. Family stuff, but that's okay, because if we like this, like I think we will, we'll just do one a month or something. We'll just keep it rolling. You know, Joe's been on a ton of these journeys with me, as well as Nathan. So I'm happy to have all of you, Josh, on here. And Josh, you said when we were off air that you read this like back when they came out, or a year or two ago?
About a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago. Kind of binged all the way through it to the most recent one. And I'm going to do my very best to go through and not spoil anything. So if I start saying something and I stop myself immediately, no, I was thinking this might be a spoiler.
Yeah,
so
I got to be good about that too.
Yeah, because I know Nathan just blistered through these things over the last few months.
I'm on chapter 30 or whatnot of This Inevitable Ruin, which is the most recent one. And it's a doozy.
Yeah, I mean, this book in the last couple years has just started burning up the internet. Like, I was on, like, you can't get away from it on Reddit. Like, if you go to any audiobook group, it's like there was a meme going around a couple months ago that like that they think it's all bots, because anytime you say audiobook, automatically Dungeon Crawler Carl pops up. Like, you can't get away from it. So, and I'm like, man, but it's weird. It's one of those books, kind of like Expeditionary Force, that is so popular, but nobody on, like, not very many people on BookTube talk about it, or as much as you think they should. So I was like, and then here comes Nathan, 6 months ago. He's like, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, all right, I'm about to get back into the BookTube thing. He's like, why not? Let's try this out. He said it's, funny and goofy. And yeah, this is, I don't know if I've read anything quite like this book. This was different. What were your guys' initial reactions? Like, were you hyped into it, or did you just find it?
So I'll go start. So I was hyped into it. That the Reddit, the hearing one-offs from BookTube, and then hearing how great the audiobook narration was. And honestly, I don't know about any of y'all, but when I started listening to this, I was like, there's no way this is just one person. There's no way.
Oh, 100%.
So like I went on YouTube, and thank goodness Jeff Hayes puts videos of him doing it. And I'm like, this guy is one of the best audiobook narrators I've ever heard. He's so good and gets me so like pulled in to him doing the AI, him doing Princess Donut. It's just like I'm so wrapped up in how great this this story is. So yeah, I jumped right into it based off just on the hype. Didn't really know that much about it, and then I just started running with it from there. It's been great.
And Josh, you can. Yeah, so you did audiobook same as me, and I know that Carol did. Not sure about you, Joe. Burn. I don't, you Dead Tree. Yeah, he okay. So he read it. He didn't get that experience, but like the thing is, they keep adding characters, and he keeps just adding different voices. It's he just has this repertoire of just different noises that he can make that just come out to different people. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, well, these must be getting really big because I seen one of the audiobook covers. I don't think it's for the newest one, but Travis Baldry was a guest. Did a character in one of the Dungeon Crawler books. I'm like, man, they're just getting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got a trade deal for books 1, 2, 3, right? I mean, it's not a coincidence. Right, he's selling a lot of books.
Yeah, he's got to be burning it up out there.
Yeah,
but so what were your guys' thoughts like when it all started? When it sounds like when it starts, it's kind of like a slice of life, everyday guy, just sucky day, and then like everything collapses. Like that was new, that was different.
Well, it goes from 0 to 100 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a world to get taken over, that was different. I hadn't seen that one before. I mean, did that catch anybody off guard or?
So, when I was reading it and everything, and that happened, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air for me because, like, you always have these kind of stories that start out and kind of hit the same motions, the same bullet points and everything, which we've got the resistance, we saw them coming, we couldn't do anything to stop them, but you know what, we're pushing back and we're fighting them and everything. This one's like no, everything is destroyed immediately. There is no hope. You're not going to fight the alien overlords. You're going to go and dance like monkeys in their damn dungeon, and like that's the way you would fight them, is you go in there and you start centrifuging them and everything, and pissing off the corporate people because you're losing them money and things like that. It was a huge breath of fresh air for me. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I loved I think it caught me where he was just standing outside in his boxers chasing after the cat, and then that's when the chaos started, and the fact that they kept pulling him through of just him staying in his boxers the whole book. I find that so funny. I could just be a child and just found the humor being so childish. I truly enjoyed it. It was so much fun.
There's a couple of like atypical choices made, right? Like one is just how quickly we get into it. And I think when Nathan said, I wouldn't really think about it, but yeah, there's no resistance. There's no like, and then the aircraft lifted off, and they launch nukes. It's like, no, none of that happens. It's just bam, it's done. So you get through that whole process and you're right into the game. And the other interesting thing I found was that like, he doesn't really spend, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. He spends like very little time mourning the loss of 8 billion people. Like he's talking about how that 10 million number is dropping. I'm like, you realize like billions probably, I mean, we don't know how many people are on the surface and just didn't come into the dungeon, but the implication is 95% of humanity is dead. And he doesn't spend a lot of time getting over the shock of that, which is good because I think it'd be irritating if he did. If he spent the whole, my son, crying about like stuff that he couldn't control, like you wouldn't enjoy the book as much. But it is kind of like, wow, he's coping pretty quickly. But also that could be part of the game mechanic.
Yeah, this is why the two of us on the bottom here kind of have to not say anything.
Mm-hmm.
We have to let things naturally evolve here.
I'm sorry, I only read book 1.
Yeah. So I'm only through book 1 as well. But yeah, my thinking on this is because we got this. It's from Carl's perspective that this whole world is crushing down around him. But the one thing, and I don't know if this is just a choice or whatever, he's gonna have to explain it. But he's like, wow, at the time of day that this happened, everybody would be in their house or in their bed, except for everybody on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Like, half of the other side of the, a quarter, half of one side is probably, they're probably in their office shops, but the other half of people are probably walking around, So, I'm sure that comes into play because I'm like, there's probably still a lot of people. And as long as they didn't like destroy all the animals outside and all the plants outside, people will be able to live. It's just you're going to be back to cave dwelling, right?
Yeah, society just got reset, but like, the people, they're definitely still there.
But to what Josh said about the humor, like I'm not gonna say I actually had like super laugh out loud. I smiled a lot, especially with the AI. The AI to me was the funniest part. But what I will say for Matt, I feel like it is written by an amazing 15-year-old writer. Like just the humor, the way like he describes things, the creatures that he comes up with. I'm just like, this is like what a 15-year-old is like. What is a cool freaking creature, bro? Yeah, and then but he's an amazing writer, so he's like, I can write that thing. His imagination is off the wall.
I'm just gonna throw this out here, man. Laughing at dick and fart jokes is timeless.
Well, and Joe is big into Malazan. I would say this is the lighthearted version of Malazan because some of the stuff that they write in there is off the wall with dinosaurs with razor arms and all kinds of things. But like this is the lighthearted version of of that, the most ridiculous creatures, but it works.
2 floors of 18 floors. That's what you guys have gotten through so far. And
so
he just gets more ridiculous.
So the one thing I saw all over before I started reading this was Princess Donut's pictures everywhere, memes about Princess Donut.
Kinda.
Like, so is Princess Donut your guys' favorite? Is that like everybody's favorite character? Because I was just seeing so much about it. I'm like, this has got to be everybody's favorite. And then I'll let you guys speak on this first.
I enjoyed Princess Donut. I liked her a lot. I wouldn't say she's my favorite. Honestly, I think Carl, from like a character perspective, is probably my favorite. But I truly enjoy the AI. Every time the AI comes up, it's like, all right, how ridiculous can this thing get? It's a lot of fun. But I think my favorite part about Donut, though, is she starts out very like cocky and very like, hey, look at me, I'm the center of the universe. And then as soon as Carl starts pushing back a little bit with her, like, well,
I was just joking, Carl.
Yeah, please, Carl, no. So I love that depth that it does with her character. But I wouldn't say she's my favorite. She's a lot of fun though.
So for me, Carl all the way, and it just gets more enforced the further into the books we get. Like from the get-go, I know that Joe was saying that like it's a little jarring that he is just kind of like going with the flow and being kind of zen about everything going on and whatnot there. But like from the get-go, like you can tell that he's pissed as hell that all of this happened and just wants to break this system down. And that like, I don't know, those types of characters always had a special spot for me. I love the guy that's like, no, we're burning it down. It's pure anarchist, let's just destroy this system. And, as the books keep going, it's just more of that. And I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Donut a lot. And the turn she had where she loves the attention was to me a really big like layer of depth, because she's not just trying to survive. She's not just trying to charm everybody. She has a goal now, which is not exactly the same as Carl. It's not that it's incompatible with it, but to me, that really took the book to a different, like now they've got like a thing between them. Mm-hmm. He's got to like restrain her. Like, oh, you want likes. And that speaks so much to like our culture and like, YouTubers and the whole thing we do, so, and authors, wanting the attention, and the social media, speaks to social media. And I was like, okay, this is a little more depth to it. Like I keep comparing it to Cradle, because to me, like Cradle is like the other very popular, like indie series that sold a bazillion copies. And like everyone knows, like if you go on like a Reddit, and Cradle, at least for a while, was everywhere. Also, right. And this to me,
got an anime coming up here soon. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I feel like this had a more complex story structure, even in book 1, than Cradle had in all 12. It's much less straightforward. It's much less straightforward. It's much more nuanced of what's going on and like the different forces of play. I really like that. Because I love Cradle, but like I don't think it's good. If that makes sense, like it's kind of crap. I ripped through those books. I loved every minute of it, but this I think is better. I think there's more nuance, there's more subtlety and more depth to the characters, and Cradle doesn't really have that.
Yeah, at least
That's my
not.
take.
Yeah, at least not till maybe book like towards the end of the series. It started to get a little bit.
But even then, everyone's goals are pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah, the
And,
goal.
and like
the goal is always straightforward.
And the characters are pretty flat. Like this person is like,
it's like DBZ to me. That's like they don't like me to say that. All the Cradle people hate.
I was going to ask that. This is the one that pisses the people off when you compare it to DBZ, right?
Yeah, but
the characters are one note.
Yeah, it's like, Goop, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna save the world.
But this book is not one. They're not all one note. There are more. Yeah. There's more depth to it than he needed to put in. Well, that's impressive.
To me, the deepness comes from all the side characters, all the people that you only get to like, where like you think it's all just fun and games, and then they'll drop like one sentence where they're just like, where like I don't want to jump too far ahead, but like Mordecai or whatever, he's like, he drops a bomb that he's like 2,000 years old or something. He's been doing this he's like locked in here forever. I'm like, dude, I thought you were just some happy-go-lucky like guy, and then it's like, and then
cartoon
you're like,
mouse, right?
Like everybody's suffering in this system, man. Everybody. There's only like a select few people that are not, being exploited in some way.
I just no, I agree with Matt. I can agree on Matt with this one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so dumb childish, you love it. Yeah, like I was telling Nathan as I was reading this, I was like, I don't know. And again, I actually towards the end of the book, I started seeing possibilities, but like I feel like this might not ever be like a top 5 book of all time, but it might be a book that I'm just gonna love so much. Kind of like Cradle, although like Cradle's kind of entered like my top 10 series for sure. But this is so freaking fun. Like,
like. The way I like to look at it here, and I said something similar to you the other day, but like I'm going to reiterate it. Like the books themselves are a circus, and the one thing that I like a lot about the character of Carl and everything is he is the ultimate straight man in this. Like he is a normal guy in this circus of ridiculousness, trying to parse himself through it and figure out what the hell's going on and how to break it down and whatnot there. And it doesn't matter that you're in a circus. Like if you think that you're safe and whatnot there, if all the clowns have knives, you're not so much safe. It doesn't matter how silly it gets. They're still trying to kill you. So I just really like that, like it's a circus with all the clowns having knives and trying to kill you.
Josh and anyone else, like, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that we need more like childish, humor books like this?
Oh, 100%.
Crazy.
100%. What I would have to agree with you that this book is never going to be a top 10 favorite book, but it's one of those books that the next one comes out, I'm dropping everything and I'm going to go through and listen to it.
It's fun.
It's so much, and it's so
100%.
It's just fun.
It's fun. It's something different that's not really being done on a consistent basis by people. And what really excites me is I read somewhere, I heard it somewhere, I could be making this up, but Matt Dinniman he's not a plotter. He's a pantser. So he goes through and puts himself in crazy situations and goes,
how can I write myself out of it?
Let's figure this out together. And I'm like, I love it. I love it.
Yes,
so I truly enjoy a good person who puts himself in the corner. It's like, all right, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun with this.
I mean, I don't know what you think, Joe, but I feel like that's needed every so often as a writer, to put yourself in a tough position where it's like, I should be able to write myself out of this without just doing a magic wave and I win,
I have to set that. I have to set that up beforehand. I can't, and I hate it. I'll do it to myself. I'll have an outline, and I'm like, I'll put a chapter. It's like Rohan finds a clever way out of the situation. It'll literally be in my outline, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? You can't say clever thing. Now I got to think of the clever thing. But of course, you can always, as authors, we can go back and put in the clues beforehand and create the foreshadowing after the fact, whenever we think of the plot twist. But so I mean, he is a pantser, Matt Dinniman. He said that, and I kind of wonder though, because this guy, he's got to be thinking ahead about a lot of these things. He has to have thought ahead about like the class. I don't know. I was suspicious of people. There's a lot of seeds being sown here. I can't believe he had two levels, and it's like I have no idea what level 3 is going to look like. He had to have had some solid ideas.
Yeah. Well, and here's what I'm wondering: when he calls himself a pantser, does he mean he just lets it all flow, or like me? I don't do a full like 20-page out or Sanderson 200-page outline of your book. Like I do like 15 bullet points, and I'm like, he needs to get here, to here, to here, and then I need to fill it in with stuff people give a crap about. You know,
that
I think of that as plotting.
So I mean, like he could have a whole bunch of like long-term bullet points, like Carl needs to get here on the 18th so he can do this, but he's not like, you know, it doesn't have it all exactly plotted out.
That sounded like Exhibit, man. Like, I heard you like books, so I made a book about how to write a book.
But the thing I like about this is there is sorry, I'm looking down at my notes just in case anybody out there is like, he's not paying attention. No, but like, there's he throws some dark crap in here. Like, he does the opposite of what I do in my books, where I use the humor to keep the darkness from getting too bad. He's doing the opposite. He's like, funny. Yeah, you just killed 20 goblin babies. Great job. Achievement unlocked. Baby killer.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's not deep. That's, you know.
But those are NPCs though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't know that at the beginning.
Do they count?
Yeah, and what do you guys think about the moral stuff in this, where stuff like that happens? Like, are we giving Carl passes, or are we like, man, he did what he had to do. He did, and half the time he doesn't know the whole truth. There's like other stuff with the ICE agents or whoever they're supposed to be, where we don't know the whole truth.
Oh, what was their names? Maggie Mai, I think, and her husband.
But he can't know that. I mean, he doesn't have access to the truth.
No.
Like, it's not like he's deliberately sticking his head in the sand and going, well, I don't want to know, so I'm just going to kill everybody, right? He's not given he's in a situation where he doesn't have a choice. It is kill or be killed. And we usually, you know, we give a lot of passes to people in that situation. Like, when humanity, you know, it's like, you know, morality is a little different when humanity's on the brink. It kind of like
quite literally are.
Mm-hmm.
They quite literally, literally, he's fighting for the survival of his, you know, himself, his species, his family, everything, you know. So, but I like the fact that he at least acknowledges. I actually think Dinniman does I don't know if he does it naturally or if he like did a bunch of rewrites or what, but it's an outstanding job of like not letting the moral quandary bog down the story.
Yes,
because I know what it's like to write a character who's done bad things, because that's my character, and it drives me nuts when they just spend all this time like, oh, I'm such a terrible person, and they're drowning their sorrows and they're just self-destructive, and it's like, get over it, like get over your. I don't want to a little bit, but it's very hard not. It's easy to get right too much of that, and I was like, okay, this doesn't do that. So Dinniman, I think, does a fantastic job. It's like, oh yeah, I killed a bunch of babies. Oh well, I got to go to the next room now because I don't have a choice. It's like, okay, I'll buy that.
You don't have time to contemplate it.
He does, but I mean, he states it and he drops it, and it's like that's this guy's pretty. I like it.
I don't think Carl has the time to think about it. He's on a time constraint. He's like, there's something else now trying to kill me. So I don't. Maybe down the line he might start thinking more, but I think right now where he's at in the book, it's you know, he has to do what he has to do to keep pushing through and surviving and trying. What I really like about Carl is there's two Carls. There's the outside Carl that the other characters see, I'm going to destroy things, and then his internal monologue that he never talks about outward, where he's so angry and he's like, these people are not going to break me. And it's like, if he says it out loud, I feel like people are, the AI, the game people is like, oh no, we're going to destroy this.
They'll make it a game. They'll want to break him.
How far they can push him. The fact that he keeps that to himself, that's what I really like about his him as a character. He just has so much like, this is bad, but I'm going to keep pushing because they're not going to break me as a person.
I mean, and keep in mind, he was also in, the military to a degree. I mean, he was in the Coast Guard and everything, so he does have some form of training in that regard. I mean, I just think he's very good at compartmentalizing.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that did happen. I don't have time to unpack it and deal with it. Okay, let's put it in the box and let's go on to the next thing is trying to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be sad after level 18.
Yeah,
nothing at all. Yeah, settle all after. Yeah, and I just love. Okay, so this might be a hot take, or maybe everybody's like me. Who knows?
These are always fun.
And this is going to sound weird because of what this book is. The RPG aspect of it, I could give a crap less about. I did not care at all about any of the leveling this, doing it 27. I love the AI announcing it. That's pretty, the way it does it is hilarious. But you could cut out all the LitRPG stuff and this would still be an amazing story.
It'd be better.
I see here. This is where I actually kind of disagree. I think it breaks it if you take it out. What would be the point of any of it? You guys got to understand. This is a show for the galaxy. It's entertainment.
They've done tournament style stuff before. Fantasy writers have without doing levels.
I get that, but I'm saying in this context, this is all right. It's what's a show? American Idol. It's like American Idol with no singing. What the hell's the point? It's that's their show. That's how they
do the game show. And they do the game show.
Okay, game shows without points.
Well, without the characters' hit points and how strong.
I'm just trying to say it's a show that they created. Each season's different and everything. This is this season. It's this is the show that they just stuck on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it breaks it if you take it out.
From a viewer's perspective, I could see this person has the strongest strength. He's gonna, I'll follow him because I like people who are strong. So I
understand your point. It is silly. I'm not denying this. I'm simply saying this is The Price is Right with no money. It's a show that has this built into it, and we're just experiencing it from the outside.
What do you think, Josh? I see you over there contemplating what your thoughts.
I can see both sides. I get from the reader's perspective, it's really goofy. But I also understand from the point of the whole book is it's supposed to be like Survivor. It's supposed to be like Survivor. And Survivor, you need to have idols. You need to have people go to goofy islands.
Perfect. Yes.
And it's just ridiculous. If you take that stuff out, that's still a game. But it's not the same kind of goofy game that's going to be around for however, I can't recall how long this show's been going on in this universe, but it's
thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
Every 8 years it's this way, or every 4 years it's this way. But
something like that.
I love the lore. Like I said, I love all the background stuff, where apparently this isn't the only type of show they do. It's this type of show is only every 4 or 8 years, but they do battle royals before. I'm just thinking about. I'm like Matt. You know what you're going to do after this series is over? You're going to be like the battle royal seasons.
And what else is kind of funny about it is and one of the commenters said this here in the little chat, but it is almost simultaneously playing the RPG elements straight as hell and also satiring the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really kind of funny.
What do you think, Joe? I know you quipped in there a little bit where you said it would be better.
I'm not a fan. I'm also not a big RPG player, so maybe that's part of it. But it took me out of the story every time there's a +1 to something. I'm like,
because I get it. Oh, sorry. Go on.
It's just not my thing. I think that's that bottom line, right? So I love the book despite that, but it was despite that, not because of it. And it didn't help me. But I know, but it's also part of the genre, right? He's writing a genre. And he did not create LitRPG, right? He was writing in a field that, so I don't blame him for doing it. It makes a lot of sense. And then you have to justify why you're putting these stats in, and you had a really good justification for it. Oh, these aliens, and all right, cool, but it wasn't my thing.
Carl has reached level 100 pajama pants. Right.
I think those look exactly like his too.
Yeah.
I think
I can just imagine like sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, go for it.
I was imagine like if Michael Moorcock rewrote Elric of Melnibone and it was like Stormbringer's a +7, you know, sort of now is a +7 sort of like soul drinking. It's like he can, you know, suck this many hit points out of someone in one shot. Like, I don't want to read that. Like that's not how that story is supposed to work, right? Don't give me numbers. Just describe it.
There has to be a good reason for it to be in there. Like logic needs to be followed for me to enjoy it and everything. And but the way I look at it is what like how Josh said. It's like this is basically Survivor. This is their totems and all their goofy shit they put in there that all the viewers want. They're like, I want to know the stats. I want to know how strong Carl's getting. You know, I want to know if he can beat these other guys. Oh, they got a +5. He's got a +3. Ooh, Carl's in for it. You know,
Carl,
I'm seeing it from
level
there,
7.
Because think about
Ash.
Think about it from it's a TV show. So people are going to be sitting around the water cooler going through like, man, I think Carl can definitely beat this other person. Like, there's no way Carl can go through. It's like, well, look at his stats, you know? So it's from
I get it. Yeah.
So
it makes sense.
I get it from a reader's perspective. There was some times where it was like, I was like, okay, how many loot boxes can these people open up?
Oh God!
But
there's the satire right there, the loot boxes. But go on, I'm sorry.
Another torch.
But some of the loot that they got, it like really intensifies and it brings new perspectives to the characters. So I really like, you know, I enjoy it. Again, it's the kid humor in me that I really enjoy. These goofiness. And then the I don't know, the audiobook definitely pulled it out. I couldn't imagine going through and reading.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dry.
I can see maybe.
I can understand that too. Like that is
favorite boss, the juicer, the llama, or the rage monster. Which one? Which one's your favorite boss?
Oh, dude, the hamster, man, and everything that happened after that. Like, that's hilarious. I laughed out loud when that happened. You know, when the entire dungeon shook and everyone felt it. They're like, "What the fuck? What happened?" Oh, Carl just smashed a hamster with his foot, his bare foot.
Oh, don't you change, Carl? Smashing that. I love how they what is the warthog like oh my god,
like
the television show.
The Ball of Orcs? No.
Glurp.
Oh, the Maestro. You're talking about the Maestro.
Yeah. The Maestro. Like I'm
ridiculous.
That coming after the juicer scene, like I'm like, dude, this is a 15-year-old's dream right here. So I'm like this is hilarious. I'm just like, this is the goofiest thing, and I love it. But I love Carl, how he just like attacks that guy.
He zeroed in on what he was. Fucking bully. Like he zeroed in on that guy, and he knew exactly what he was trying to do. And he was like, I'm not playing your game. I'm going to break it. I'm going to break your shit. And that's what he did. And Maestro wasn't happy about it.
Well, and and I love, and again, Matt is really good at using characters to reveal stuff later on by accident. You know, he's like, "Oh, I pissed this guy off," and he accidentally told me, "I'll see you on 9." And I'm like, "Oh, so your class is on 9? Okay, give me a little bit, more info," because that's what I got halfway through this book, and I'm like, information is premium. Mm-hmm. Any information you can get that's the reason Carl's going to beat these people. He's not going to beat him out of his strength, and it's going to be manipulating the system and getting people to tell him things that they shouldn't tell him.
Well, he's also the AI's little pet too, so that's helping for sure. Like, what'd you guys think of his legendary pedicure kit?
Oh God. Oh man, I felt just like he described it. What were you guys thinking when it popped up? I was like,
"You gotta put yourself." Go on. No, sorry.
Yeah, he's like, "Clean those piggies." So what did you guys think about him becoming the AI's pet thing?
I think you guys got more out of it from the audio I wonder if anyone who I read the book loved the AI, or if it's an audio specific thing. Because I was like, I thought the AI was fine, but it wasn't. It was particularly interesting. So
They're not going to convey like the energy that they put in that audiobook, because like the AI is always bursting with either energy or like just really twisted sexual energy, all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah, the AI's obsession with feet I thought was quite comical.
Oh yeah,
that's funny. That was good.
And
well, yeah, and kind of like you guys were saying at the beginning, he can't say stuff out loud because then it's like, oh, you didn't want another torch? 30 more torches.
Yeah, see, it's all about like humor and stuff. Like again, it's a show, so the AI is like, all right, well, what would be the funniest shit I could do to this guy? Oh, I'm not going to give him any pants. He's going to run around in these boxes. You know what? I'm going to incentivize him because I'm going to give him boxers with special stats that won't work if he wears pants.
Yeah, and then when the maestro gives him boots, I'm like, you mother.
Well, dude, the pedicure kid already saved his ass once, I think, in this book. Wasn't this the book where
he should have got his ankles blown off?
Yeah, his feet would have gotten cut off had he not been using that thing. So, it's already paying off in dividends here.
Like one of my favorite things, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I love when he's finding semi glitches in the system.
Oh yeah,
like the table that apparently any crafting table is indestructible, and he's like, I don't know if anybody actually knows that, but I can see him building these things to what Carl's going to use these later.
Mm-hmm. He's really good at that. You'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he kind of has to be, right? That has to be the route forward, because otherwise, why is he going to survive and 10 million other people don't? You got to give him some kind of special ability. He's not like the biggest, he's not like a super athlete. He's not like, UFC world champion. So when the fighting happens, he's like already really good at it. Like none of that was put in there.
Yeah.
So he's figuring out like, I can combine this dynamite and this bucket and this, slime and make, a really useful item. And it's like, okay, that's a good.
One thing he put in there that we haven't, at least I'm not remembering that was in this book, is so for some reason Carl happens to be really good at an electrician. That like he had a 6 to start off with when everything else was like 3.
He said in the beginning, in like the opening scene, that he would like fix up his own.
Yeah, so he was just naturally good at that before all of this.
Yeah, so that that is going to become more of a thing. I think in the future. Maybe that helps him craft. Maybe that's because didn't they say at one towards the end, like he created something that nobody had ever created before, and now he has the
royalties,
the blueprint for it or whatever, so he can make it again if he finds the materials.
Oh, like Vern said, he literally has the royalties to it. He's going to get money every time someone uses it.
Someone else.
Not a lot, but still, every little bit counts.
Yeah, and I had there are weird things that Matt has put in that just kind of I feel like a lot of people maybe just slid by it, but I forget. I didn't write down the actual sentence, but he says something that right at the beginning that alluded to simulation. I don't know why he said that. It wasn't like he was thinking it was a simulation, but it was just something in the back of my mind that they will put in, and I was like, is this going to end up being just all a simulation at the end of this? But I was like, nah, as we got further into it, I don't think that. So, but one of the other ones, I've always had my eye on Agatha, from the very beginning. What did you think about her, Joe? Because since you're where I'm at too.
I'm where you are.
Yeah, you guys don't want to ask us.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I didn't think too much of her until the reveal, honestly. I was like, oh, she's just going to be I thought she'd be a recurring joke or a recurring, someone who's constantly getting, in his way. Oh, I can't believe she's still alive, but she got in my way again. That kind of a character, and she's not. I was wrong.
Do you have a feeling that she is similar to Krumpa from Malazan? Because she seems like the bumbling idiot, but there's something not right about her. She's something.
A cranky old lady, guys.
I loved when Carl was like, I had a blaster in my inventory at one point.
Yeah,
What?
that was good. That was
and
good.
Then he's
the history tab.
like I could see it. Like he painted a really good picture, like right after where she's like walking away, and he's like, Agatha, you want me to help you with your cart? And she like looks, and like the way he describes her looking back into his eyes, like she almost figured out that he figured out, and she was like, he's like, the wheel's squeaking. You don't want them to hear you. Don't worry, they won't be able to stop me. Like I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna blow up. Like I like that angle. That angle I like. Me and Nathan were talking about something. This is one of my favorite angles. I do like the inside man angle, that you don't know whether they're on the inside to ruin it for people or on the inside to help somebody. What do you guys think about that? Like I love that aspect of this.
It's one of my favorite tropes. And this book series, without giving any real spoilers away, does it very well. Like it does a lot of that stuff really well, and well, that's all I can say on that.
Yep, that was yeah. You can't say too much, but it's good. It's one of my favorite tropes. One of my favorite out there.
One of my least favorite things he's doing in this, and if we could all talk about it, like, and again, I assume it's coming. I don't want it. I do not like it. Nathan already knows what I'm going to say. I had a whole rant about this the other day. Please.
Why can't you just like things?
Do not keep pushing this ex-girlfriend thing. I don't care about it. I get it. It's supposed to make Carl mad and mess with his mind while he's in there. I don't care for it. I really you don't need that. But I see it's coming. It's either going to be they're going to teleport her from the outside to the inside, or she happens to be on the inside and going to screw him over. You have to choose Princess Donut or me, or I'm taking Princess Donut. I don't want any of that. I don't want none of that. What do you guys think? Am I overreacting? Am I getting?
I think it's a good point. I feel like it's an understanding, but we'll just have to finish reading or listening and finding out what happens. With
what do you think, Joe? Since you have no idea like what's going on here, like I'm not.
Yeah. She's gonna show up and just and she's gonna be annoying. And but you know what though, here's the scenario as it plays out that would be super annoying is if he's like torn and he wants her back, but I feel like Carl's beyond that.
I hope
so. I mean I feel like they're gonna try, he's gonna be like, yeah, no, that's not happening.
Jack,
so
you gotta keep going back to these because this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I feel like there's too many spoilers for these guys are gonna be aching to drop on us.
That would be the best way to do it. I would accept that. That would be the best possible way. Where Matt subverts everything and makes you think like this is a new character that's going to be really bad. And then he's like, he goes up and he's like, do you want to keep her alive or kill her? He's like, kill her. And then we never hear from her again.
the trolley problem. There's a train and it's going to hit either Princess Donut or B. They're like, Matt, what are you going to do? And before they even finish the sentence, he like pulls a lever, like saves Princess Donut. We're just like, oh. Like that was way faster than we expected.
Have to think about it.
Like, what's the agony, Matt? Like no agony. It's like, yeah, it's cool. Not Matt, Carl.
We definitely got to do more of these. I want to see. I want you guys' reactions to where that
what
goes.
Actually happens. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, and I have another theory. Now, you guys can talk a little bit about this. I think the AI is way more powerful than they're making it out to be super powerful, but I think it controls like the entire universe. Like I have this feeling that this AI is more than what they're even telling us. Like, what do you think, Joe?
You're gonna the world building. I don't like the world building. On the large scale, and it could just be that I don't know enough, but like this whole these people and they have I mean the technology is so advanced to be able to like give this guy an inventory and have him go like that. Think about what that entails.
Yeah.
To have a world where like people are hungry and a world where like people need entertainment. Like, I'm sorry, you could just artificially generate all this entertainment. It would be way better than this actual show with actual people dying so easily. So
yeah.
So then there might be a response that I've read one book, right? So maybe this is all explained later on, but like right now it just annoys me because I'm like, this doesn't really make sense.
Well, they talk about how they made a video of Carl boinking, the one. The
Oh,
host,
the maestro.
right? And they're like, it's so real. Even the
Yeah,
maestro's friends thought
but
it was real. And I'm like, then why are we doing this?
But we can do that. Like we can do that now, or maybe in a year, right? We're almost there now on Earth in the real world. But their technology is so much more advanced that this all seems a little pointless and silly. So maybe there's an answer. I'll get an answer later, and that's fine.
This is
But
killing me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sure he figures out a way to kind of wrap that all in.
I have very high standards for how everything fits together, sort of at a high level. So like it really bugs me when it doesn't seem right. So
I don't
we'll
think
see.
you're going to get disappointed later on. I don't think you will.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. That's good.
And one thing
good.
I like is they're playing this off that like this company is actually going under. They're like, they're on the verge of bankruptcy, man. Like you can do all this. You're on the verge of bankruptcy, and then they're like, that's why they started it so soon. And I'm thinking there's going to be more bugs. And I don't know if there's like they've alluded that there's always been bugs, but I feel like there's probably going to be more bugs because they pushed it so fast, and then they're trying to end it sooner so they can get the money from all these
But it gives you that feeling that like there's an in, right? That there's a hope that he can find a way to damage the company, because the company he can't blow them up, right? He can't kill them all. But if the project fails and they lose money, then all of a sudden like they're in real trouble. So it gives a leverage.
Well,
which is good.
It's so weird. Like that's why I love having people on and doing these discussions, because I just thought about something that I hadn't thought about the whole time. It's like the AI could be kind of, because maybe it's owned by the company, maybe, or something. I don't know, but it could be helping him because they want ratings, right? No one's been past the 13th floor ever. So maybe it's like, well, more people will tune in and they'll give more money if he makes it to level 14, so maybe that'll be in the future books. That'll be what pushes him to go where no one's gone before. Because we've only heard of one person getting to the 11th floor, and we heard about somebody who's been the top of all time was the 13th floor.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, I think, should maybe look at it sort of this way, because I think you guys are looking at it as Carl versus the system. And it might, it's possible here that it could be Carl versus the companies with the AI as the wild card. That AI might not be on their side.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what the Meister said. Every year, the AI likes somebody, and so it seems like it's Carl. Oh man, what did you guys think about the elemental? I thought I
was hoping you'd bring it up.
That was a freaking cool, because and it revealed some stuff too.
I like how he dispatched it. And if he would have gotten the actual credit for that instead of it being a system thing,
he'd been like level 15 or something crazy. He would have went up like 3 because it was level 93.
Oh, dude, he would have probably been like level 20 or 30 something, man.
But now, what do you guys think about this? Right, so they were damaging other creatures that were level 9, level 8 creature, and it's like, but it was like they had to hit him with hard shots and everything. So you would think, if they're like, we're dropping Rage Monster from level 13. It's like level 93 is what it is. Like they shouldn't have been able to do anything to it. Even before they threw it over the thing, they talked about how it only had like a quarter of its life left. And I'm like, so some of these things aren't as strong as they should be in my mind. Like, is that
natural weaknesses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that's a part of like that's going to be, or at least Joe, do you think that's going to be something that later, or do you think it's just a part of like, oh, they used a certain thing that got them down? It wasn't like that there's something weird going on with their level.
I just assumed it was something about explosives, which might have been part of like the AI, like planning things like, we'll send a Rage Monster, but he happens to be really good at blowing things up, which happens to be this level 93 thing's one weakness. So we'll toss it. I don't know. I mean, I guess if having dynamite up the butt is a weakness, that's a weakness. So I don't know. I don't know.
That would be a weakness for me, though, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I could take that.
I feel like broadly speaking, I think a lot of people would have that as at least not their favorite thing. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't play enough of these games to have that feeling of level 93. What that should mean, like, when you're level 13 or 12, you shouldn't be able to do any damn. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, and the one thing, like, as I'm kind of going through this book, it gave me the feeling of 300, the movie, because like 300, I love historical. I love historical stuff, right? That's like one of my favorite genres of movies, right? Troy, Kingdom of Heaven, all these amazing movies.
The Odyssey's coming up, by the way.
Yeah, and then there's 300, right? And 300 throws in weird, like, people with weird arms and deformed faces and everything. But the story's so good, I don't even think about it, right? And I think that's kind of dungeon crawler to me. Like, I'm like, there's so much weird things, like goblins with pots on their head driving a steamroller that's got spikes on it. But I'm just like, I forget how goofy. Like, at some points, I'm like, I forget how goofy this is because the story's really cool. Like, I am down. I'm always down for a tournament, down for like anything like that. I am a sucker for it.
You know that there's an in-story reason for why everything looks all grotesque and monstrous in 300, right? It's a retelling. Like, one of the Spartans that left Thermopylae is telling the rest of them what's going on. He's playing up the monstrousness of the people that he was fighting and stuff. So we're seeing it from his story perspective. I mean, I just love that. Personally.
Yeah, like it only took me a few minutes to get into it, but like, what do you think, Joe? What's your thought, like on the style? Like, were you ever? Because I know you said the AI pulled you out. So, like, did you ever get to the point where you're like, I'm just kind of immersed in this, and do you even live, bro?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the monsters didn't evolve. It's not a natural ecosystem, right? The monsters were planted there to create a fun viewing story. So they don't have to be logical. They don't have to make sense. It's like the whole, you used to play D&D and there were dungeons. Like, what do these guys eat? How come the monsters in room A didn't fight the monsters in like the next room over? They just sat there waiting for adventurers to show up. And you're like, because that's how the game is played, right? So this is sort of the same thing because it is a game. So they lay them out as a game and they can respawn anytime and they just say it. So, was it my favorite setting? It's not my favorite setting, but it makes sense. At least it makes sense, right? And I thought it was like 300 in a different way. When you said 300, I was like, because to me, the guys in 300, they're like, they knew they were dead. So it was how they're acting, knowing they were going to die, right? They had no illusions. Wow. I kind of think Carl reminds me of them in a very different way. I don't think he thinks he could. He keeps saying like, I don't think we're going to make it to floor 5, but we're going to sure as hell try to make it to floor 3, And it's like, I don't think he thinks he's coming out of this. He's going to try like hell and take some people with him, but I don't think he thinks he's coming out of it. So in a way that reminds me of, I don't know if Princess Donut is on the same page with that, which is fine. It's not like a conflict. It's just like
actually get out of this thing and be super famous afterwards. Like,
but I don't think he does. I think he thinks they're dead, which is an interesting other like layer to his. That's why I really like his character. I think,
What do you guys think?
Yeah, what I really like. So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts, because we talk about Princess Doda, but we're not talking about her. What she's best at is when she's put on in front of a camera on the TV show of going through like, all right, so kind of what's going on, where Carl has to sit and it's like, all right, Carl, you're not going to blow anything up. Just sit there and shut up and let Donut be the one stepping up the game. I know she's all about being on camera and being that number one, but that's what I really liked about their dynamic. It wasn't like they're both good at blowing things up. It was, I'm good at blowing things up. I'm good at the game because I'm thinking outside the box. Donut, I need you to make sure people love us so we kind of get more stuff. And I feel like they were good yin and yang from a partnership perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They play off each other great.
Which is kind of funny if you think about it, because, like, all right, so she was a best in show cat and everything, and I still can't remember if the finger up the ass comment happens in this book or a later one. Oh my God, that was another one that I laughed out loud when I got to that point. It was so funny.
Oh my God.
But
no one has put their finger up there, Carl.
Yep. And so all right, so she was a best in show cat. You don't really need charisma for the most part as a cat to be best in show. It's like, oh, well, this cat looks pretty and it's got a pedigree. There's like 5 layers of incest in this family tree. This one's gonna win or whatever. It's kind of funny that the pet biscuit that she ate, which was given to Carl by the AI, just so happens to increase her charisma. Like, it perfectly complements that, her. She's a little ball of charisma.
The narrative of Princess on it.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, she's a tiny little ball of charisma and everything, and she perfectly...
Sarcasm! 5 points added, AR!
Only in Best in Show. I guess royal lineage, but that we don't really do that much anymore. I mean, Britain kind of has it a little bit still, but
oh man,
what are you gonna do?
I love it, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's any other big points I want to. Yeah. So, and I think Carl struggled towards the beginning. I think as it goes on, I think he's going to get more like us, like me against the company, and no one's going to stop me. But he did try to save all of those elderly people. Like that was like, to
his detriment.
Mm-hmm.
No. He knows that if he just lets them die, he's not going to be able to sleep at night. He knows that that's his limit. If he doesn't save them, then he's done. Maybe in the short term, physically, he's in a better place. He's not at risk of dying, right? But he knows, he's self-aware enough that he's like, if I don't try my best to save these old people, I'm doomed. They will have broken me. That's his thing, right? Because he doesn't say they won't kill me. He says they're not going to break me. They're not going to make me into the mindless, shooting machine that they want me to be.
Yeah.
Right? They can't turn me into that. They can kill me because he knows they can and probably will. Because when he says they're not going to break me, he's not saying they're not going to kill me, right? He's saying something very different. They're not going to break my character.
I'm not going to become, inhuman.
I'm not going to make me into what they want. And he follows through on that. That is how he acts. He is at every step. He's trying to survive, but he refuses to do the things that he thinks will make him inhuman. At least so far, at least in book 1. I that's a really subtle and well thought out character arc, not arc, but character motivation. Right. Yeah. I really like it. I really like it.
I think you nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But that's why I'm saying this is so good. I don't want to shit on Cradle, but I didn't get that from Cradle. I don't think any of them were that interesting. But Carl's interesting in this way to me.
Yeah.
My thing.
I agree the world is way more interesting in Dungeon Crawler Carl than Cradle. Cradle for me was, I love the motivation of Lyndon. I love that type of the guy who shouldn't win ever. And he's like, I'm going to outgrind you.
That is one of the tropes of progression fantasy that they don't have here, which is that Carl doesn't have any obvious limitations. Because in progression fantasy, the very classic character is that the character born without magic, somehow the lowest of the totem pole, that thing they do in Cradle is very common in progression fantasy. And they somehow figure out a way to overcome their limitations and end up being stronger for it. And Carl doesn't get that, right? Which is fine. That's not a criticism. That's just it's a difference. He seems like he doesn't have all the advantages, but he doesn't have any big disadvantages up front. So that was good. It was what it was. So, sorry.
So what did you guys, we're coming up here on the hour, so I don't want to keep you guys too long, but Josh, if you can remember back to finishing this first book, what was your thoughts about what's going to happen going forward? Were you running right into it? What were your thoughts?
Yeah. So when I went through and finished it, I immediately started the next book. I was like, I have to know what happened. I remember when I finished it, I said, I have no idea where this damn book's going. Because I feel like there was so many rabbit holes it could go down. I was like, I just have to know what happens. So I went through, I think, binged the first 3. And then I was like, all right, I need kind of a break from this world. And then I ended up coming back to it. So, no, I truly, it had me hooked. It had me hooked, line and sinker. from the beginning, from when that book ended, of I need to know what happens next, because it felt truly like a video game. I felt like I was listening to a video game and being like, okay, what's this craziness that's going to happen next? It was a lot of fun. There's one part that I know doesn't happen in this book that I really cannot wait until you guys get to it. There is something that happens that it's stuck in my head right now that it's so hard for me not to talk about. And it's so much fun. It's so ridiculous that I cannot wait for you guys to get to it and hear this madness that happens to a character in the book.
All right, Nathan, what was your thoughts after you got through? I know you just binged them, right?
Yeah, more. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. That's kind of how I felt about it. I was like, I need more. When I hopped into this and everything, I got the first book on Audible, burned through it, and then I was like, okay, like I'm purchasing the next 5, and then that was my my month. I just burned through them, and it's an addiction. I have a sickness now.
Well, yeah, I used to call actually, I didn't coin it. Michael Knipp coined it. Cradle was the crack cocaine of fantasy because they're so small that you can just burn, and they're easy to read. You can just burn through them. You're like, let's just do another one. Let's do another one. So maybe this will be the methamphetamine of fantasy.
Oh man, I like my
Maybe
tea.
it'll just get you so hyped you can't stop it. I don't know.
And it really ends on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
That last page or the last 2 paragraphs, I'm just like, oh, come on, man. Like that's not fair.
He wasn't not writing another book. Like it wasn't.
Oh, no. I don't know if you guys remember, but the very last thing is like, but if you pick this one class,
Yeah.
you really piss off the company or something. And it's
yeah.
like, come on.
Oh
You
yeah.
you could have left that paragraph for the next book, but no, he didn't.
Oh man.
Oh,
He's got to dangle the carrot in front of you. You got to come for the carrot.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, this first book for me, I loved it, but I didn't have this thought process of like this is going to be a top 5 book series of all time. But I do find it hard to not reach for the second book right now, because I'm like because we're doing this. So I'm like I want to do it the same week or the week before, so it's all fresh in my mind. But I really want to go get the second book right now.
Yeah, you get that page on the Kindle, and it's like, oh, do you want the next book? Yeah, I'll just get the next book.
I do want to.
Just buy the next one. Fine, you got me.
You can always reread it. Read it now. Read it a week before the video, the live. It's a win-win. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Well, the problem is he does something that that didn't happen too hard in Cradle until the last 2 books, and that's this newest book. I saw the audiobook time of 28 hours. I'm like, that's like a 900 to 1,000 page book. I'm like, holy moly!
A lot of things coalesce in this book. There, I mean, a lot of everything that you're going to see in the next 6 books build up to this book.
Mm-hmm. It goes by quick. It goes by very quick.
Oh my gosh!
No, I think I listened to the whole thing in like 2 days. Now I didn't go to work those 2 days. I didn't hang out with my kids for those 2 days. It was just me and
I didn't speak to my wife.
Your kids come in, you go away with you. Go get out.
Yeah, I could probably do it in 2 days just simply because I listen at 1.5 to 2 times speed, depending.
That's the trick. That's the trick.
You're a heathen, man. I hate that.
I can't listen at 1 time speed. Dude, I cannot listen at 1 time speed. I can't. Because now if I sit it on 1, it sounds like people are talking like this. And I'm like,
the same with podcasts.
Yeah.
But
how many books is supposed to be total? He said, right? I don't remember what he said because I wasn't paying attention.
Usually it's
He said,
1 floor per book. Now the first book is special where there's 2, and something happens that I won't talk about that causes one of them to get skipped. So I think it's still around 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, because of the whole double in the one book and then the one got skipped.
So he's okay.
I think.
Yeah. That's why I had heard, but I'm thinking to myself, a lot of authors won't come down after they reach like 900 pages. Like, they all have to be 900 pages like now. If that's the case, this guy's going to be writing this for the next 10, 12 years because
It's going to be Sanderson books.
You're not writing 2 of those books a year. I mean, I guess unless you just lock yourself in a room and you're like,
I don't think that they're all going to be as long as this one. Like I said, like there's a lot that built up to this. I think they're going to ramp down again to the normal length after this
Monster Hunter International, where the first book was like 750 pages, and then every single one has been shorter than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that. That's why I'm going through Monster Hunter International right now. I'm like, the books just get shorter. This is amazing.
So, I mean, the way I'd like to put it, if anyone here has read Dresden Files, I know that Carol has, and Bern, you were on the thing.
The best.
Like this is this book and this Inevitable Ruin is Peace Talks and Battlegrounds together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Indie, right? No one makes me split them up because I don't have to because I'm an indie writer.
Yep.
This is one of those things because that drives me crazy. when they because the Peace Talks and Battlegrounds would have been so much better if they'd been 2/3 as long and slapped into one book. It would have been so much better. Battlegrounds especially, that was padded too much.
Well,
for what happened in it.
I don't know if he had to be convinced to do this. See, Joe, you get us into the Dresden Files, and now I can't get it out of my head.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, Battlegrounds to me was the best of. Like they're like, we're gonna bring in everybody you've ever loved.
Too much. It's too much.
Yeah, and it's like just because
I'm gonna take them away.
Next time I corner Jim Butcher in a men's room, I'm gonna talk to him about how long Battlegrounds was because this is not.
No, what you need to say to him is give her back. Damn it. Give her back.
Yeah, don't spoil. Like you can't spoil a book like 17 in a series.
Who's her? No one knows.
Oh yeah, they'll figure it out. Jesse I gotta talk to Butcher at Worldcon. I gotta try to actually speak out loud to him. I spoke to Matt Dinnerman. I don't know if I told you. I met him. I mean, he didn't really he doesn't know who I am. So I said, hi, it's nice to meet you. He's like, oh, he's very nice.
He said, Joe, can we talk outside the bathroom?
Matt, I actually came up and shook his hand like in the bar area, not inside the men's room. I was being pretty good.
He made sure that Jim washes his hands before he shows up. But he's
a super nice guy.
Oh. My God. Well, this was awesome. And maybe we'll have our beast friend here for the next one. Because I'd like to, if we can do this, we'll do this one a month. And then hopefully here soon we'll be at the Inevitable Ruin and we'll see what all the hype is about. But I think this is going to be an amazing journey. So fun. Josh, you got anything going on you want to let everybody know about?
I have a live Wednesday with the bearded book beast himself and Novel Insights Dr. Logan. We're going to be doing a talk on book 10, Nemesis of the Orphan X series.
Okay, I've never heard of that one. I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check out the series.
It's
BBD talks about it a lot.
It's a fun thriller. It's super fun. Very, very quick, snappy reads. A lot of fun.
And where can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so already overbooked on YouTube and same on X and Blue Sky. So I spend too much time on both of those. So you can find me there or just check me out on YouTube.
And Mr. JCM Byrne, unlocked achievement, awesome writer achievement.
If you want to read about bears in space, you can read
Bears in Space.
It's book 6 with the new typography, and I'm working on book 7, which is the birds and the bees in space. As we learn about where baby starships come from.
I can't wait to see that cover.
I got Chris McGrath back for the 7 and 8 covers. We got back on the same schedule, so it'll be another McGrath, and we'll see. I don't know. I never really restrict him. I just say, here's some ideas. Do what you want to do, and that's what he does. He doesn't take my ideas. He just does something else. I'm like, all right, it's fine. You're an artist. I'm not. So I got that going on, and nothing else. I pared back to just a really hybrid helix. Oh, and then if I get motivated, I had an idea for a cozy romantasy called about a retired orc mercenary female opening a massage parlor, and the series will be called Happy Endings.
Yes.
You're all welcome. Cozy romantasy coming in whenever the hell I write it, probably May.
That will be the gift that keeps
New
on
York
giving.
Times bestseller, Happy Ending. Not what you think it's gonna be. Oh man. Well, and if you're here, you know where you can find me. You can find me here on X, wherever. Just go buy the books. I'm doing something special for Legend, something I've never done before. That's why the paperback and hardcover is not out yet, but soon. And then book 5 is going to come out. More Than a Dragon, the greatest thing I've ever written, is going to come out probably in October. So, but thank you guys. Dungeon Crawler book 2. What's the name? I don't know, but I am looking forward to it. I'll probably read it here in about another 3 weeks, and we'll all meet back here. Thanks, guys. See you later.